This is Monocle on Design Extra. It's a short show to accompany our weekly programme where we discuss everything from architecture and craft to furniture and fashion. I'm Maylie Evans. Dubai Design Week is underway at the moment, bringing together creatives from across the Middle East in a showcase of the best in design from the region. Amongst the installations and exhibitions at this year's 10th edition is a bespoke pavilion, a present-absent Mudhif, created especially for this year's event. The enclosed shelter is inspired by the houses found in the marshlands of southern Iraq and made from reeds and mud using traditional techniques. It forms part of the wider research from the Iraq-based architect Ola Saad Znad, in which she investigates the potential uses of these ancient materials and ways of making. Monocle's design editor Nick Muniz caught up with the architect at the pavilion to find out more.
This installation was made out of materials that are exported from Iraq, specifically Ahwar, which is the southern part of Iraq. The constructions, the pieces, these are also made by the craftsmen in Ahwar, which is the marshlands in Iraq. Those people, they are marginalized communities, and they do have a lot of this craft that I want to celebrate because the area of the marshland now is facing water depletion. And I think the world should see how amazing the vernacular and indigenous architecture they do. These pieces are made of very minimal tools, and this is what's the beauty of it. It's only made of like knives and scissors and few ties, and you get to see this beautiful structure and this material that gets bent on its own with its own flexibility. I think I'm trying to honor this craftsmanship because we are losing it because of the water depletion, and it's like they have their own biodiversity and they depend a lot on water. So once the water is gone, everything else is gonna obviously be gone. I just want to tell the world that the Arab world has a lot of architecture and has a lot of people who does a lot of craft who are not even architects. This material is sustainable and it's heat resistance. During the construction of this installation, I also experimented in creating urban furniture, like the benches, the table. I also want to deliver the message to people that we can actually utilize this material in today's world instead of the concrete and all the materials that are very hot during summer and gets really hot when you go sit outside.
You've touched a little bit on it there, but what's the application beyond this region? Are there lessons to be learned from tapping into whatever craft and making is local to you, whatever materials are local to you? What's the broader global picture here?
Lessons learned as well is I received them as pieces, and then installing was here in Dubai. Now the people who were installing it are from India, Bangladesh, etc. So they were very familiar with the material, and they said that they have so much of this material in their homeland, which is interesting because I felt like the way they are treating the material is familiar and they are very comfortable and bending. Of course, we needed extra people to do it because back then in Iraq, everything was done by maybe 3. And now I had a huge crew and we couldn't even finish it in a month. I think the process was so fun. In this table, I'm exhibiting part of the research that I've been working on, looking at the marshland from different scales, urban, and then you zoom in into the domestic, and then you zoom into the typology of this Mudhif. Mudhif is a place for hospitality. It's a place to host people, the place to do feasts. So this is my feast.
Why is it important that we protect this craft, protect this heritage, and you do this sort of research?
It's very unique. Now, everyone is passing by. Well, some people are looking at it as a kind of commercial and entertainment, and some people are looking at it oh wow, how did you manage to do this? Some people want to buy it actually and do modern stuff inside, which I am against. But again, I just want to embrace all the opinions and see how people are trying to understand this structure. It's very important because it has a lot of details. There's a lot of proportions. If you go and see the elevation and the facade, you will see the proportion of the top is kind of half portion of the bottom. And this is very important for us as an architect, the proportions and the scales. The beauty of it is to honor it by the people who are doing it, and they are not architects. It's their craft.
And will you bring this into the way that you work in maybe more for want of a better phrase, but more contemporary kind of settings and environments?
Yeah, I'm planning like to have urban furniture by this material. I think it's very durable. It's a very good idea to do that. This material could be easily like shading structure. It has a lot of possibilities. This is the first step of telling the world that this exists. So let's use it. Let's make the best out of it.
And I think what's also quite fascinating is I feel like there's lots of new materials being developed, but the reality is that this one is as natural as you can get.
This is raw. Like even this is raw.
You can peel off some of the bark, I guess.
Yeah. And I think this is beautiful. I think that's nice. Even like the mats, I had to shrink and do stuff to control the sizes, which is also very nice. It shows that the material is so living thing. And I think like now they've been doing this for like 5,000 years. And I think it's timeless. People are still looking at it and saying like, it's beautiful, it's nice. So why do we have to invent all the time new things?
The architect Ola Saad Znad in conversation with Monocle's design editor Nick Mudhif. That's all for this week, but there are more dispatches from Dubai Design Week, which will feature in our main programme next Tuesday. But if you're eager for more design stories, then you can listen to our archive available at monocle.com. Or if you prefer print, you can pick up a copy of Monocle magazine. In fact, this month's edition is a design special. You can find it on all good newsstands now. Today's episode was produced by me, Maylie Evans. Thank you very much for listening.